There is a truth that many fear to speak aloud, yet it shines with a light that cannot be hidden, the truth about women who live alone without a man. These women are not broken, nor are they incomplete. They are not waiting for someone to arrive and validate their worth. No, they have discovered something far more powerful, the sacred knowledge that life answers to the strength of their own spirit. A woman who lives alone walks a path where silence becomes her teacher. In the stillness of her home, she hears her own heart more clearly. She learns that she is not lonely, she is whole. The world may whisper doubts, but her soul roars with courage. She is not a victim of circumstance. She is a creator of destiny. When she wakes each morning, she holds the key to her freedom in her own hands. She shapes her world not through dependence, but through the radiant energy of self-reliance. The truth is this: a woman alone is not without love. She is in union with her higher self. She carries wisdom that comes only to those who dare to stand in their own power. She becomes a beacon, showing others that love does not only arrive in the form of another person, it begins within. And when she lives in this truth, she is no longer merely surviving. She is thriving. She does not shrink to fit into a world of expectations. She expands, she creates, she shines. A woman who lives alone without a man is often judged through the narrow lens of society, which insists that she must need someone else to feel complete. Yet the truth is far different. She is not waiting for someone to arrive and finish the picture of her life. She is already a masterpiece in motion. Her wholeness does not depend on another hand holding hers, nor does it require external validation to confirm her worth. She has discovered that completeness is not something granted by another. It is something awakened within. Every breath she takes becomes a reminder that life itself flows through her veins, and that is enough. She can cook her own meals, open her own doors, walk her own path, and in each simple act, she declares to the world, "I am whole." The beauty of her existence is not measured by who walks beside her, but by the strength with which she carries herself. She knows that love, joy, and fulfillment are not treasures locked in another person's chest. They are hidden within her own soul, waiting to be claimed. There is a silent power in being complete on your own. It means no storm can shake her foundation, because she has built it with her own hands. It means no absence can make her feel empty, because she has filled herself with her own light. She does not fear solitude, for she has transformed it into sanctuary. Where others might see lack, she sees freedom. Where others might see loneliness, she feels presence. Her own, strong and unshaken. A woman who recognizes her wholeness does not enter relationships out of need, she enters them out of choice. She does not cling out of fear of being alone, for she has already embraced her solitude and turned it into strength. She becomes selective, discerning, unwilling to settle for anything less than respect, love, and truth, because she does not depend on someone else to supply what she already carries within. Her heart is not desperate, it is abundant. Her spirit is not begging, it is overflowing. This realization is not cold or distant. It is warm, alive, and deeply empowering. It is the knowing that her soul is not half of something, it is whole, radiant, and powerful. She can walk into any room without seeking approval, because she already knows who she is. She can face the silence of the night without fear, because she has befriended her own spirit. She can wake up to an empty bed without sadness, because she understands that emptiness is only an illusion when one's soul is already full. The truth about a woman who lives alone without a man is that she is not lacking. She is living proof that completeness is not a gift someone else bestows. It is a treasure she has uncovered within herself. She is not waiting, she is not broken. She is whole, and in her wholeness lies a power that cannot be taken away. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness, a void to be filled, or a space that must be broken by noise and company. But for a woman who lives alone, silence becomes her teacher, her guide, her mirror. In the quiet of her home, when the voices of the world fade away, she hears something far greater. The voice of her own soul. It is in these moments of stillness that she learns who she truly is, without the constant echo of other people's demands or expectations. In the hush of the morning, when she sips her tea or coffee without rush, silence whispers to her the truth about her inner strength. She realizes she does not need external noise to feel alive. She begins to notice the rhythm of her breath, the beating of her heart, the soft movements of her thoughts. She sees how her mind has been trained to seek distraction, and yet in the absence of distraction she rediscovers clarity. Silence teaches her to untangle her emotions, to separate the false fears planted by society from the authentic desires of her heart. Where others might see quiet as loneliness, she experiences it as presence, the presence of herself. She learns to listen to her intuition, that soft inner voice that is often drowned out by the clamor of the world. In silence, her intuition grows louder, sharper, and more reliable. She finds answers not by asking others what they think she should do but by sitting still and allowing truth to rise from within her own depths. This wisdom is not rushed, not forced. It flows naturally in the still waters of her solitude. There is also a sacredness in this kind of quiet. It becomes a sanctuary where her mind can rest, where her soul can breathe. In that space she learns patience, the art of waiting without fear, the art of trusting that life unfolds in perfect timing. She learns self-control, for silence has no distractions to hide behind. In silence, every is magnified, every feeling revealed, and she comes face to face with herself. Rather than running, she chooses to listen, and in listening, she grows. As days and nights pass in this companionship with quiet, she becomes deeply attuned to the subtleties of life. The shifting of light across her window, the softness of evening air, the way her own body moves with unspoken wisdom. She begins to see that silence is not emptiness but fullness, overflowing with lessons that only the still can hear. It teaches her to trust herself, to love her own company, and to respect the sacred dialogue between her spirit and the universe. Through silence, she discovers a profound truth. The answers she once searched for outside of herself were always within her, waiting patiently for her to stop, to listen, and to believe. A woman who lives alone without a man carries within her the undeniable truth that she is the creator of her destiny. She does not sit idly by, waiting for circumstances to change or for someone else to design her life. She understands that every thought she holds, every word she speaks, and every action she takes weaves together the fabric of her future. She is not bound by the old scripts that told her she must depend on another to survive. She knows that she holds the pen, and with it, she writes her own story. Each morning, when she wakes in the quiet of her space, she chooses who she will be that day. She sets her intention with clarity, knowing that the energy she pours into the world will shape what the world returns to her. She refuses to live in the shadow of fear, because fear creates chains, while faith creates wings. She walks forward with determination, understanding that her destiny is not something handed to her. It is something she continuously creates with her thoughts, her choices, and her courage. Life may bring challenges, but she does not see them as barriers. She sees them as stepping stones, as opportunities for growth, as hidden blessings meant to test her strength and awaken her potential. Where others might surrender to defeat, she rises, knowing that her destiny is never in the hands of circumstance, but always in the power of her response. She refuses to be a prisoner of the past. She refuses to be defined by what did not work out. Instead, she moves forward, rewriting the script, creating new beginnings as often as she chooses. To be the creator of destiny is to live with vision. She sees beyond what is in front of her and looks toward what can be. She allows her imagination to serve as a blueprint, her faith to act as the foundation, and her persistence to become the bridge between dreams and reality. She is not content with drifting. She sets her course and sails it with conviction. She does not wait for permission, because she knows the universe responds to boldness, not hesitation. This woman knows that her words hold power, that her affirmations shape her reality. When she declares abundance, doors open. When she speaks love, connections form. When she insists on freedom, chains break. She does not merely hope for a better life. She calls it into being, step by step, with unwavering trust in her own power. She understands that destiny is not a fixed path, but a living creation, constantly unfolding in alignment with her choices. She honors this power not with fear but with joy, because to create her destiny is to live in harmony with the infinite possibilities of life. She is the architect, the builder, and the dreamer, and every day is a canvas she fills with intention, strength, and purpose. A woman who lives alone without a man often discovers a deeper relationship that transcends the physical, and that is the union with her higher self. This connection is not about reaching outward, but about turning inward, where her true wisdom and guidance reside. In the stillness of her solitude, she learns to recognize the quiet presence that has always been with her. A presence that whispers truth, strengthens her spirit, and reminds her of her divine power. She comes to understand that her higher self is not separate from her, but the purest, most radiant part of who she is, waiting for her acknowledgement and trust. When the noise of the world no longer distracts her, she finds herself drawn into a dialogue with this inner presence. It speaks to her not in thunder, but in gentle nudges. In sudden clarity, in moments of peace that cannot be explained, she realizes that the answers she once sought in others were always hidden within her. Her higher self becomes her counselor, her comfort, and her compass, guiding her away from illusions and toward the truth of her own strength. This union is not bound by fear or need. It is a relationship rooted in love, trust, and expansion. She learns that her higher self carries a vision far greater than her limited perspective. It sees beyond difficulties, beyond the present moment, and it directs her toward opportunities she might otherwise overlook. By aligning with this wisdom, she begins to experience synchronicities. Doors opening at the right time, people crossing her path with purpose, blessings unfolding in unexpected ways. She understands that nothing in her life is random. Everything is orchestrated when she walks in harmony with this greater part of herself. The more she honors this connection, the stronger it grows. She notices how her fears begin to dissolve, replaced by a quiet confidence that she is never truly alone. Even when her physical space is empty, she feels surrounded by a higher presence that carries her, strengthens her, and empowers her to rise above the ordinary. She learns that peace does not come from external security, but from this inner alignment, which cannot be shaken by circumstances. Through this union, she also learns self-love on a profound level. She no longer seeks validation through the eyes of others because she sees herself through the eyes of her higher self, whole, radiant, capable, and complete. This perspective transforms her relationships, her work, and her purpose. She becomes less reactive and more intentional, guided not by impulse but by wisdom. She moves through life with grace, aware that she is part of something vast and eternal. This bond with her higher self becomes her most sacred relationship, unbreakable and everlasting. It is in this connection that she finds her truest sense of belonging, her greatest source of strength, and her deepest well of love. A woman who lives alone without a man discovers that true freedom and power are not gifts given by others, but treasures awakened within herself. She learns that she is not bound by the roles, expectations, or limitations that society has long tried to place upon her. She understands that her worth is not measured by whether she belongs to someone else, but by the strength with which she belongs to herself. In her solitude, she experiences the profound liberation of choosing her own path without compromise. Every decision, every step forward, becomes a declaration of independence, a bold statement that she is capable of steering her own life. This freedom is not reckless, it is deliberate and sacred. It allows her to explore her own desires without apology, to pursue dreams that might have been silenced in the noise of dependency. She can choose how she spends her time, what she devotes her energy to, and what vision she will build for her future. No one dictates her rhythm. She answers only to the voice within, and in doing so, she discovers a power that few dare to claim. Her power is not domination over others, but mastery of herself, mastery over her mind, her emotions, and her destiny. There is immense strength in being able to stand alone. It means she does not collapse under the weight of absence. It means she does not fear the empty chair at the table or the quiet of her room at night. Instead, she transforms those spaces into symbols of her independence, reminders that she is not defined by who is or is not beside her. Freedom teaches her that happiness is not conditional, not something withheld until another person delivers it. Happiness is hers to create, to nurture, to live in every moment she chooses. With freedom also comes the power of choice. She does not settle for half-fulfilled dreams or half-hearted love. She can say no to what diminishes her and yes to what expands her. She becomes unshackable because she no longer makes decisions from fear of being alone. Instead, she acts from strength, clarity, and confidence. In this state, she attracts not dependence but respect, not pity but admiration, because the world sees that she stands tall in her own light. Her power also lies in resilience. She knows that setbacks will come, but they do not define her. She has learned to rise on her own, to rebuild from within, and to keep moving forward no matter how heavy the storm. This resilience is the kind of power that cannot be taken away, because it is not borrowed from others. It is forged within her. It is the quiet, unshakable strength of someone who has faced solitude and found not emptiness, but empowerment. In her freedom, she becomes limitless. In her power, she becomes unstoppable. What once might have been seen as weakness, living alone, is revealed as the very source of her strength, the foundation upon which she creates a life of authenticity, courage, and undeniable dignity. A woman who lives alone without a man does not shrink to fit into the narrow spaces the world has drawn for her. Instead, she radiates outward, expanding into the fullness of who she is meant to be. There is a light within her that is no longer dimmed by the weight of others' expectations, a brilliance that grows stronger as she learns to honor herself. Her radiance does not come from outside approval but from the fire of authenticity burning within her. It is the glow of a woman who has chosen herself, who has embraced her truth, and who dares to shine without apology. Her expansion is not limited to material achievements. Though those may follow, it is the expansion of spirit, of awareness, of possibility. She realizes that life is not about confinement but about growth, about stretching beyond fear into the limitless horizon of her potential. Every challenge she overcomes, every boundary she breaks, adds to her brilliance. She begins to see that her very presence is powerful, that by living fully and fearlessly, she inspires others to do the same. Her radiance becomes a beacon, silently telling the world, "You too can be free." She expands in thought, refusing to be bound by the rigid patterns of the past. She expands in love, understanding that love is not only something to be received, but something that flows endlessly from within her. She expands in vision, daring to imagine possibilities that once seemed impossible. She begins to create a life that reflects her spirit, not one built merely to satisfy expectations. With each step into authenticity, her world grows larger, richer, more abundant. Her radiance also transforms the spaces she inhabits. The room she enters feels different, because she carries herself with a light that cannot be hidden. People sense it, even if they cannot name it. The quiet confidence, the peace in her eyes, the warmth in her presence. She does not demand attention, yet she draws it, because genuine radiance needs no announcement. It shines on its own, effortlessly illuminating what surrounds it. Expansion, for her, is not only personal but universal. As she grows, she lifts others. Her courage gives silent permission for others to step into their own light. Her joy proves that happiness is possible outside of convention. Her strength shows that independence is not a burden, but a blessing. She becomes more than an individual walking alone. She becomes a force, a living testament to the boundless nature of the human spirit. There is no limit to her radiance, no ceiling to her expansion. She continues to evolve, to reach higher, to embody more of the truth that lives within her. Each day becomes a new opportunity to shine brighter, to grow wider, to expand deeper into the infinite power of her own existence.